Look up at the night sky. You see thousands of glowing white dots. You feel incredibly small. The answer is going to terrify you. Welcome to the greatest mystery of human existence. For centuries, we thought the Earth was the center of everything. We looked up, saw a dome of stars, and assumed that was the entire cosmos. We were so utterly wrong. Imagine this. You wake up in a pitch-black room. You strike a match. The tiny flame illuminates your hand. It lights up a few inches of the floor. You can see dust floating in the air. But beyond that tiny sphere of light, nothing. Just endless, suffocating darkness. You don't know how big the room is. You don't know if there are walls, or if the room goes on forever. You don't know what is standing just outside the light, watching you. That match is the human race, and that pitch-black room is the universe. For most of human history, our match was our naked eye. On the darkest, clearest night, far away from city lights, a human being can see about 2,000 to 3,000 stars. It feels like a massive number. It feels like you are seeing the whole galaxy. But you aren't. Our Milky Way galaxy contains anywhere from 100 billion to 400 billion stars. What you see on a starry night is exactly 0.0000001% of just our own local galaxy. You are looking at our immediate neighbors, the houses on our street. You haven't even seen the rest of the city, let alone the country, let alone the planet. But then something impossible happened. We built a better match. In 1609, a man named Galileo Galilei pointed a tube with two pieces of curved glass up at the sky. It was a simple telescope, but it changed everything. Suddenly, the moon wasn't a smooth, perfect pearl. It was a battered, dead world covered in craters and mountains. Jupiter wasn't just a dot of light. It had its own moons dancing around it in the dark. We realized we were not alone in a static painting. We were floating in a massive, moving machine. Fast forward to the 20th century. We built giant telescopes on tops of mountains. We saw that the blurry clouds in the sky weren't clouds of gas. They were other galaxies. Island universes floating in the void, each containing billions of stars. The room we were standing in was suddenly revealed to be unimaginably vast. But here's the scary part. Even with the biggest telescopes on Earth, our vision was still blurry. The Earth's atmosphere, the very air that keeps us alive, acts like a dirty, moving window. It blurs and distorts the light from the deep universe. If we wanted to truly see how much was out there, we had to leave the planet. And so, in 1990, humanity did something incredibly brave. We launched a school bus-sized camera into space, the Hubble Space Telescope. Floating high above the atmosphere, Hubble could see the universe with crystal clarity. It took breathtaking pictures of exploding stars, massive pillars of gas, and galaxies colliding in slow motion. But 5 years later, in 1995, the scientists operating Hubble decided to do something that sounded absolutely crazy. They decided to point the greatest telescope in human history at absolutely nothing. Imagine this. There is a tiny patch of sky near the constellation Ursa Major. To telescopes on Earth, it looked completely empty. No stars, no galaxies, just an empty, black void. It was a patch of sky so small, it was roughly the size of a grain of sand held at arm's length. The scientists pointed Hubble at this tiny patch of empty darkness, and they left the camera shutter open. For 10 days. People thought they were wasting millions of dollars. Why stare at the dark? Why look at nothing? But what scientists discovered next changed everything. Became known as the Hubble Deep Field. It is, without a doubt, the most important photograph ever taken by humanity. Because it proved something terrifying and magnificent. The universe isn't just big, it is overflowing. If you point a telescope at any patch of empty darkness in the sky, you will find billions of galaxies. But this is where the story gets really strange, because seeing those galaxies isn't just looking across space, it is looking backward in time. What if I told you that the universe you see right now doesn't actually exist anymore? It's a ghost. Light is the fastest thing in the universe. It travels at an unbelievable speed of 186,000 miles per second. It is so fast, it can travel around the Earth 7 times in a single heartbeat. But the universe is so insanely massive that even at that speed, light takes a very, very long time to get anywhere. When you look at the moon, you aren't seeing the moon as it is right now. You are seeing the moon as it was 1.3 seconds ago, because that's how long it took the light to bounce off the moon and hit your eyes. When you look at the sun, you are seeing it as it was 8 minutes ago. If the sun were to suddenly magically explode right this very second, we wouldn't know. They believe the universe is infinite. It goes on forever, never stopping, never ending. Just an endless ocean of galaxies stretching out into a terrifying, infinite dark. If the universe is truly infinite, then math dictates something completely insane must be true. In an infinite universe, every possible arrangement of atoms must repeat itself eventually, which means, far beyond the edge of what we can see, there is another Earth. There is another you, watching this exact video, living your exact life. Not just once, but an infinite number of times, spread across an endless void. It sounds like science fiction, but in an infinite universe, it is a mathematical certainty. But wait, there is a twist to this story, and it is the darkest, most depressing twist in the history of science. Remember how I said the universe is expanding? In 1998, scientists made a discovery that shook the world. The universe isn't just expanding. The expansion is speeding up. Something invisible, something we cannot see or understand, is pushing the universe apart. Scientists call it dark energy. It makes up 68% of the entire universe, and we have absolutely no idea what it is. But we know what it's doing. It is pushing galaxies away from us at terrifying speeds. In fact, the space between us and the furthest galaxies is expanding faster than the speed of light. This means the light from those galaxies will never, ever reach us. Right now, as you watch this video, entire galaxies are crossing over the edge of the observable universe. They are blinking out of existence from our perspective, lost forever. Every single second, more and more of the universe becomes totally unreachable. It is slipping through our fingers. Imagine this. Trillions of years from now, the expansion of the universe will be so incredibly fast that the light from other galaxies won't be able to reach Earth at all. Any humans, or whatever we evolve into, living in that distant future, will look up at the night sky, and they will see absolutely nothing. Just a pure, empty, black void. They won't know that other galaxies exist. They won't know about the Big Bang. They will be completely isolated in the dark, a lonely island in an empty ocean. They will think that their single, solitary galaxy is the entire universe. We are actually incredibly lucky. We happen to be alive at the exact perfect time in cosmic history to see the universe in all its glory. We are alive when the sky is still full of light, when the history of the cosmos is still written in the stars, waiting for us to read it. So let's go back to our very first question. how much of the universe have we actually seen? If the universe is infinite, the math is simple. We have seen 0%. Because any number divided by infinity is 0. Everything we have ever done, every war we have ever fought, every love story, every tragedy, every brilliant discovery, every planet, every star, every massive black hole we have ever photographed. It is a microscopic speck floating in a limitless, never-ending ocean of mystery. We are basically blindfolded, feeling the walls of our tiny, pitch-black room, pretending we understand the house. But maybe that's not a bad thing. Maybe the beauty of the universe isn't in knowing everything. Maybe the beauty is in the mystery. The fact that we are just tiny, fragile creatures made of stardust, sitting on a rock tumbling through the void. Yet somehow, we figured out how to look up. We figured out how to ask questions. We are the universe waking up and trying to understand itself. And as long as there are stars left in the sky, we will keep looking in the dark.